Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another college football game day. We are here on Not Move Podcast, College Football Game Day, previewing all the big games this week. But before we get started, we want to mention our sponsors, mybookie.ag. You can use that QR code up in the upper corner here to use as a way to get into mybookie.ag for all your betting needs. BetUS, our original sponsor. MLB Shop, NFL Shop, Walmart, and Not Moved merch store located on Fourth Wall. So, Jimmy, we got a big couple weeks coming up. Not so much this week. It's not a big game as you would think in coming into the conference championships. But there are some impactful games this week. We did have the unveiling of the college football playoff rankings this week, which almost mirrors now the AP rankings with a few spots that are slightly different. But as we move closer to the conference championships, these games are becoming more and more important.
Can you hear my dog? Is my dog making all that noise? Oh, yeah. You good, bro? You cut out.
Me?
Yeah, you cut. Yeah,
Oh,
these games are coming more and more important. My bad. My dog was doing something crazy. Um, but it's all right. It's all right. Um, these games are doing something more impactful, especially down the stretch when you realize that these it seems like these voters have recency bias. Like it's like, what have you done for me lately? Like losses at the start of the year don't look as bad as if they look at the end of the year. You know what I mean? And with that college football playoff unveiling, it looks like the ACC is only going to get one bid, which really sucks. I feel like they would have got two if Miami wouldn't lost to SMU, but my Wahoos are going to have to win the ACC championship if they want to go get in the playoff. And we gotta strap our boots up and get ready. But I think we can do it.
yeah, I think Virginia is the highest ranking ACC team. So they are in at this point, along with Memphis, who's not ranked in the top 12, but they are also in for the AAC. Uh, so this week we have some big matchups that are, I would say, defining moments
Mhm.
for these teams. They're going to be the ones that catapult them directly into the playoffs. And then there are other teams who need to come back on a rebound and really start to cement themselves as one of the contenders to get in that playoff picture.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like with only three ranked matchups this week, like ranked on ranked matchups, I feel like one of them is a preview of what the conference championship is going to look like. I think the Big 12 championship is going to be Texas Tech and BYU, so we might see that matchup again. Um, but yeah, man, it's college football season. It's bit topsy turvy. I was in the live last night, and some people were like, they were a guy was frustrated because it was there's no dominant team. And I was like, doesn't that make the sport more competitive? Doesn't it like balance it out and make it more fun? He just wasn't having it. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that parity is the important factor when we talk about college football. Being able to be competitive and not see blowouts are something that we want as college football fans and as sports fans too. So being able to have that parity in college football is going to be great for the game, great for the fan experience. Pull in more fans for this college football season. So as we get started here, we got a big noon kickoff. Number 7, BYU at number 8, Texas Tech minus 10.5 for Texas Tech Red Raiders. This Big 12 matchup is pretty much going to determine who is going to be in the college football playoffs, with both of these guys most likely meeting in the Big 12 championship. I just don't think that either of these teams are going to be able to survive a two-loss Notre Dame team or a two-loss SEC team if they don't win their conference championship. This is a matchup of contrasting styles. As we know, Red Raiders are high-tempo, explosive offense, and the Cougars are a stout defense that grinds out games in the run game. So I feel like the 10.5 is probably changed, right? We said it went from 10.5 to 12.5, and that's in a little more than 24 hours. So people are starting to see that Texas Tech can score the ball. I just don't know that BYU is going to be able to slow them down.
Yeah, it all depends too, because that Texas Tech defensive front is nasty. And if that BYU offensive line can't hold up with that banged up running back they got, I don't know how much Bear Bachmeier's mobility can stretch the field for them, to be honest. And they got Texas Tech has Baron Morton back. He looks healthy again. Although sometimes the offense stalls out occasionally. I still think they got the dogs in the right spots, and I think they can cover the margin pretty handedly. They've been dominant all season up until this point. They had one misstep where their QB was out. I don't know. I feel like Texas Tech probably gets it done here and takes the uh, O from BYU. It's a tough place to go into too as well. You got to think of that road atmosphere in Lubbock. I'm going with Texas Tech taking covering the spread, and beating them.
Yeah, I think a 2-touchdown spread is something that Texas Tech can handle. 12.5 is going to be something that is going to be easy for them to attain. BYU just not going to be able to keep up with the injuries on their offense. And as you said, that pass defense for Texas Tech seems to be very good. And if BYU's put in the catch-up position, it's going to be very difficult for them moving forward in that game. All right, so before we get to our 3 o'clock, 3:30 games, BetUS, one of our sponsors, our original sponsors. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring all of our podcasts. We cover many different podcasts here, different topics like UFC, NASCAR, NFL, NCAA, basketball will be coming up. Major League Baseball is coming up next season. We're going to talk about the offseason in a few weeks as that gets started with arbitration and the MLB draft. The NBA, the WNBA, all of these topics that you could get covered here, right here on Not Move Podcasts. So we move to the 3:30 kickoffs. Number 3, Texas A&M at number 22, Missouri. Missouri getting 6.5. A&M continues to win week in and week out, maintaining this new culture in the tough SEC. Missouri has elevated its status in the SEC, but yet has not yet put a signature win that they can really wrap around their hands around and say, this is where we are on the resume. This could be an opportunity, though, for the Tigers to do so. The Aggies could continue to build a stellar season and cement their place as a top 4 seed in the college football playoffs. Jimmy, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm going with the Aggies. I think the Aggies roll. This offense is just insane. Although sometimes they start slow, I think the wide receiver duo and Concepcion Craver just nasty. Marcel Reed's playing good ball. The Texas A&M defense is pretty stout. Their secondary is a bit suspect, but I don't think a freshman quarterback in Max Zoller is going to go out there and exploit the secondary weakness that they got, especially with the wide receiver talent that Missouri has, which isn't really like top tier in my opinion. I think Texas A&M is going to do a lot of stacking the box, taking the run away from Ahmad Hardy because Ahmad's one of the best running backs in the league in the country. And once you take the run away from Missouri, they don't really have much. And I feel like the pressure of the front seven is going to get to the freshman quarterback in this environment. And I feel like 6.5 is just not enough.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal play by Texas A&M that just gets to be too much for Missouri. Ahmad Hardy, absolutely one of the best running backs in the game, but that offense has too much speed on Texas A&M to be able to slow them down. Missouri's defense is not effective when they have to be on the field a lot longer than their offense, which I feel like is going to happen as the game wears on. Moving on to the next matchup is Auburn at Vanderbilt. Number 16 Vanderbilt now has fallen out of the top 10. They are a 6.5-point favorite. DJ Durkin has taken over as interim for the Tigers and are coming in with a 4-5 record, struggling on offense tremendously. They do have a solid defense, especially against the run. But Vanderbilt has been knocked out of the top 10, as we said, but can vault themselves back into the playoff picture if they can run the table the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think they can too. If you look at the schedule, definitely have a good chance to. They just can't afford a misstep. Auburn has to win 2 games to go bowling as well. So this is a kind of a pivotal point in both teams' schedules, to be honest. And I think I wanted to go with Auburn just because the defense is so nasty. You got the run defense. Their run defense is one of the top in the nation. They've been great all year. It's just the offense just has not been putting anything out there. They have the receivers to do it. Cam Coleman's phenomenal, but he just can't get the ball in his hands. I expect Auburn to do a lot of screen passes, and I feel like Vanderbilt can shut that down. Vanderbilt's a confident team. They know what they need to do. It's just like I've been going all year. Diego Pavi in points, but this is time Diego Pavi is the favorite. I just can't go against Vandy, man. I've been riding on the train for too long. I can't hop off now. I think Vandy wins. My favorite play of the game is the under. Like if you want to put money on anything, bet the under because this is going to be a defensive fist fight. I think on both sides of the ball. Um, Auburn's offense, they do have a solid running back in Jeremiah Cobb, um, and you saw what happened to them last week when they just stacked the box against Auburn. It's just the passing offense of Auburn is just not there. It don't matter who they got. They bench Jackson Arnold to put Ashton Daniel in, then they pull Ashton Daniels out and put Jackson Arnold back in. They might start the freshman Deuce Knight. It's all up in the air for Auburn, which I mean, you never know. And some people might do the interim head coach bump, starting DJ Durkin like you said instead of after firing Hugh Freeze. But I just don't see it, man. I think the Commodores are here.
Yeah, absolutely. The under, by the way, is 45 and a half. It's really close to me. I feel like this could be a 27-17 game. Vanderbilt definitely covering that spread. The under is a tough thing to, like you said, with the revolving door at quarterback for Auburn, really not helping your cause when we talk about getting the score that you need to get the over. So I think it could be the under that does hit as well as the spread. I just feel like number 16th ranked team versus an unranked 4 and 5 team, probably 6.5, not good enough to be able to cover that spread, or for Auburn to be able to cover the spread and stay within a touchdown. Just doesn't think it's going to happen. So as we move on to the 7:30 games, NFL Shop, get all of your NFL needs. NFL Shop, you can get jerseys, T-shirts, koozies, whatever you like, NFL team. Jimmy likes the Titans. I love the 49ers. But any team you like, you can get that all at NFLshop.com. Use that QR code in the upper corner here. So the first game we're going to talk about, Wake Forest at number 14, Virginia. Virginia, solid football team who's on the bubble. The playoff picture is the highest ranking ACC team. They are 8-1, currently in the playoff picture. Despite a struggling offense, the Demon Deacons are 5-3 and have a running back who continues to produce in Demon Claiborne. Jimmy, what are you thinking about the Wahoos?
We roll, baby. We roll. This team, we're at Scott. The crowd's going to be behind us. Last time Virginia had a home game, we had FSU jumping off sides left and right, left and right, left and right. False start here, false start there. The Wahoos are going to be out in force, and they're going to be screaming. Uh, I feel like 6.5 a touchdown win is more than likely what's going to happen. I think it might be more. Just if you looked at what happened, one of my dog picks last week was Wake Forest, and I was completely wrong because they got absolutely swamped by Florida State team who is been up and down this season. And I don't know, transitive property. We beat Florida State. I don't know, yeah. Chandler Morris, absolute dog, puts the team, runs it in when he needs to. Pretty decent arm, okay decision making. The real bread and butter of this team is Jamari Carroll, man. Our run game is just as good, um, and I think we can handle this game. We got to win out to make it to playoffs. Like I said earlier, man, we got we got this game, we got Duke next week, and then we got VT at the end of the year at home. So if we can run the table, we can. be in the playoff. And I feel like Tony Elliott has put a belief in this team. He's inspired this team. He said we can do it all here from Virginia, and I feel like we got the Wahoos are rolling, man.
Hey, I think that the Wahoos could roll here. 6.5 points, touchdown, not enough for the 5-3 Demon Deacons to hold on to. Next game we got matched up. Number 10 Notre Dame hosting Navy. Notre Dame has now moved twice in the week. They were originally a 20.5 point favorite, moved to 26.5 points, and now 27.5 points via ESPN. Navy 7-1 coming off their first loss last week, while the Irish have been on a win streak of 6 after the opening losses to now number 3 Texas A&M and number 18 Miami, who has struggled as of late. The Irish simply cannot afford another loss if they want to continue to stay in the college football playoff. But we are coming up on Veterans Day, and the midshipmen are looking to play spoiler. I don't know that 27.5 points is going to be covered, Jimmy, in my opinion. What do you think?
Over.
Okay.
Over.
I love the over as well.
55,
Yes.
easy.
Yeah, 55.5 is the over. I don't feel like Notre Dame is going to be stopped. And midshipmen, that offense seems to just play really, really well against Notre Dame at times. So let's see how the game plays out. But I like the over, and I like the plus 27.5 for Navy with their ground game, grinding the game out. They're not going to be passing the ball. This isn't a new wave offense that you've seen before. So I feel like there's not enough time for them to be able to, kind of stretch the game out. The Irish, of course, I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of missed tackles and a lot of touchdowns, man. This
Yeah.
is gonna
Yep.
over City.
Yeah.
I'll be
Over is
taking it to
definitely the
6.
play. I agree. So before we move on to the next 7 o'clock game, just want to mention MLB Shop. MLB Shop, one of our sponsors, in the upper corner here. You can use that QR code to get your newly minted back-to-back Los Angeles Dodger championship T-shirts, championship jerseys, hats, whatever you need. If you're a Dodgers fan like me, I'm sure you've been there already and been able to get some of that merch. So as we move on here, we got an SEC matchup that is usually a clash of the Titans, but because of current circumstances, has not really played out to that billing. That's LSU at number 4, Alabama. Alabama minus 9.5. They have ridden a wave that most people didn't see coming. They thought it was going to really turn the other way, so to speak. The tide would turn. Forget the pun there. But their offense has gotten better each week. Their defense has been the mainstay, as we know, with Caleb DeBoer as the head coach. LSU has now removed Brian Kelly. That's what you get, Brian Kelly. The Tigers are hoping they can pull it together and have a solid bowl that they can play in. It just seems too small of a spread for Alabama not to cover. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, this Alabama team's just been rolling, man. Absolutely rolling. They had that hiccup at the start of the season. Everyone's like, "Oh, Alabama, maybe they're not the same team. They lost to Florida State. Florida State's not that good. Look at this." And then you saw what happened to the two teams. Florida State went down, Alabama went up. It's just this whatever stays the same. Like, what is it? What's the saying when everything's the same or something? I don't know where I was going with that. The more things change, the more things stay the same. That's what
Right.
I was trying to say.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
okay.
I got it. I found it.
You got it off. I like
Yeah,
it.
all right. Yeah, Alabama is gonna womp LSU. LSU's offense has just been terrible. I don't know what Nussmeier reports are. He was hurt. He's looking better. It's just I don't know what they're doing. I don't know like their offensive coordinator, what his position is, like how his job stability is. Because I mean, Brian Kelly was yelling at him on the sidelines too. So maybe they get rid of him too. I know the governor's uh, involved in trying to find a new coach, and I know the AD's probably gone too. I think, right? I think I heard that.
Yep. Yeah.
So LSU's just in shambles, man. They're just eating their gumbo, just chilling out. the defense the defense is still a problem. It's just how much of a fight they want to put up. And I feel like this Alabama team is just gonna constantly just run through them, run through them, run through them. And by the fourth quarter, that they'll be up by more than 2 touchdowns. So I feel like Alabama takes the points.
Yeah, I agree with that. Moving on to our game of the week, number 9 Oregon at number 20 Iowa. They are getting 6.5. Iowa at home. Oregon knocked off by the Hoosiers. Need to get themselves right back into the winning swing. Iowa's ranked number 20, excuse me, and just seems to be staying around all the time. This game is going to be closer than people think, with the rain playing a factor there. The weather won't stop the Ducks from taking it to the Hawkeyes, however. 7 points is not big enough for me to say that Oregon's not going to cover this spread.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I see a lot of smart money coming in on Iowa. A lot of people are betting Iowa here, and I just when you there's a heavy favorite by the public like this so much, I tend to fade it. And then, like if you look at what the strengths and the weaknesses are of both teams, the strength of Iowa's offense is the offensive line. Well, Oregon's defensive line is the strength of their defense. So I think they kind of cancel out. If they can stop the Iowa run game, I know Gronowski's kind of a dual threat. But if the Ducks can contain him, I don't see the Iowa Hawkeyes putting up many uh, offensive explosive plays. I feel like the Ducks can contain them. I feel like this is kind of a statement win for Oregon, to be honest, because everyone's like, "Oh, their only real win is Penn State, and Penn State fell off." Well, I was like, "Well, that was a Penn State team that believed in themselves, that still had hope." Oregon took all the hope out of them. Um, but I don't know, man. It's just Iowa does have a tough defense, but I mean, these guys play in Oregon. It's not like the rain's going to affect them. It kind of did against Wisconsin, but I mean, that was 28 and a half. That was a big spread. This is a touchdown, and I feel like they get over that.
Yeah, and also the over under is 41.5. That's a tough play here because I feel like Oregon could win,
They could get that for
20,
themselves.
21 to 6. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Where they score 3 touchdowns and their third touchdown comes in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and Iowa just never gets that offense going. So I feel
yeah,
like the under is probably the play, even though it's so low. But I'm definitely saying that Oregon covers that spread.
yeah. It just depends on what Oregon team shows up, man. Because like this Oregon team has like when they've been playing, they've been beaten down on teams. Like Rutgers got smoked. They put up like 50 on them. I think 48.
Yeah,
So like it just depends on what Oregon wants to show up. So I think and with that college football playoff thing announced where Oregon was the 8 seed, I feel like that's enough uh motivational inspiration that Dan Lanning can use to light a fire under Oregon to get them like, oh, they're sleeping on us. Look at us now. We're gonna prove ourselves type deal. So I feel like they got to handle business.
absolutely. And they can't afford another loss in the Big Ten. That's
No.
another thing. That's another motivating factor for them. All right, we're going to move on to spreads of the week, where we have a couple of Big Ten matchups. Number 2, Indiana, as mentioned before, knocking off Oregon, minus 14.5 at a deflated Penn State game.
Yeah, I thought it would be more. Indiana kind of just wants people. Um, I mean, this Penn State defense is kind of they still got the guys there, but are their hearts in it? I don't know. Indiana hasn't showed me that they're struggling with anybody, and I'm taking Indiana every day of the week.
Absolutely. I don't think that Indiana is going to slow down. And you're right. I feel like when you thought Indiana was going to be in a game where they would not be able to score a lot of points. They just seem to fill up the stat sheet out of nowhere, whether it's a defensive touchdown, special teams, and then the offense on top of that, or just the offense being more dominant than one might have thought. Hey, we got to
Mhm.
really give credit to Cignetti and those Hoosiers.
For sure, man, for sure. And one thing I gotta highlight, man, that Indiana defense. People don't talk about the Indiana defense enough. They're like, "Oh, their offense is so good. Their offense is this and that."
Yeah,
Their offense is good, but that defense is slept on, man. Y'all got like Indiana's defense is nasty, and they get the stops they need in big time plays. And I know sometimes they haven't been in close games. But if you watch that Oregon game, the Indiana defense was able to contain one of the most explosive offenses in the country. So y'all gotta
Agreed.
watch out for them.
Absolutely. We got 3 minutes here before kickoff. Washington minus 11.5 at Wisconsin. The Huskies have been improving each week. Wisconsin is kind of like I don't. They're
They're dead.
very.
They're dead.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're very. They seem like they should be better, but they're not.
Yeah, Luke Fickle took the identity away from Wisconsin. The pound the rock Wisconsin of old, dead. We try to make an air raid offense. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm going with Washington. Like if you look at Wisconsin against the spread, they has not covered a spread this I don't think this whole year except for Oregon, which was rain game. So I don't know what the
Yeah.
weather's like. I just like Washington's high power offense, even though they have let me down this season. I don't know if they're going to do it today.
Yeah. And I feel like the Huskies could be able to cover here, but like you said, unpredictability with Wisconsin is kind of making me shy away from even taking a wager on that guy on that game. But the dogs of the week. Speaking of dogs, number 5 Georgia at Mississippi State. Battle of the Bulldogs. Mississippi State getting 9.5.
Yeah, you don't walk into Starkville and leave a lot. You know what I mean, man? These Mississippi State Bulldogs, man, this is a statement victory for them. I've been uh, hitting my cowbell, rolling with them all year just because they're a cash cow. If you look at it, they're 8-1 against the spread. They play these close games. 9.5 against the Georgia team who hasn't been crazy, I think is preposterous. This defense Georgia has is not the your Georgia defense of old. Gunnar Stockton is a gamer. He might find a way to pull out a win, but I don't think he wins by more than a field goal, to be honest. Maybe a touchdown. 9.5 is way too many points. Give me the real Bulldog. Give me Mississippi State. Hail State, baby.
Okay. All right. Then we have California plus 18.5 at Louisville.
Yeah,
The
this is
Bears are a team that is, again, one of those unpredictable teams, but Louisville equally unpredictable.
Yeah, that's just too many points, man. I scratched my
Yeah.
head when I saw this. I was like,
Yeah.
"What?
Yeah.
Okay." I don't know if this was the bookie trying to tell me something or what, but I was like, "I'm not falling for it. I'm taking. Whatever. Give me the cheese, whatever. Trap me, bait me. I don't care. This Cal Bears team, JKS. I don't know how many times I gotta talk about him, man. This guy's special. That kid is
Yep.
special. I feel like
Yep.
he's gonna keep it well within 3 touch. Like, are we kidding? That's almost 3 touchdowns, bro. They're not gonna
Right.
get smacked up.
Right. Next game we got added to the slate, UCLA. They're minus 1.5. Is that right, Jim? Minus 1.5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
at Nebraska. Nebraska is reeling right now at this point.
Yeah, they just lost their quarterback, and I've been fading Nebraska for the past like month, and it's been pretty good, successful wise. And UCLA, I mean, they lost last week or 2 weeks ago, I believe to I can't remember who it was. It was a high powered team that they weren't gonna win. I think it was it? I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's been so many games, but yeah, UCLA. Give me the Bruins, man. I don't know. Just fade Nebraska.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Matt Rule is going to be as successful in his second year. It's his second year. Is that right?
Yeah, year two, Matt
Yeah.
Rule. He
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
contract extension.
I think. Yeah, I know. Well, that's because they wanted to keep him. Because here's the
They're
big thing about
scared.
Matt Rule. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they didn't want Penn State to grab him up, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, he already coached at Temple. And let me tell you, Matt Rule in the third year at Baylor was the year that they became a really good team. So
Yeah.
I understand Nebraska wanting to hold on to a guy like that. At the end of the day, it's very, very difficult to find the right guy. And I feel like, that might have been the right guy for them.
Mhm.
Uh, and the team you're talking about, they lost last week. They lost to USC, and then
Yeah.
they beat Northwestern, and then they lost 24-6 at Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay. That's
You
what
know,
it was. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So before we get into the interesting games of the week, let's mention the Not Move podcast. merch store presented by Fourth Wall. You can use the QR code in the upper corner to be able to have some of our merch. Sweatshirts, T-shirts are available for you. You can sport our podcast on the Fourth Wall. All right, so some interesting games that you pointed out this week. Colorado at West Virginia. West Virginia giving Colorado 6.5.
Yeah, if you looked at it earlier, after West Virginia beat Pitt in the backyard brawl, West Virginia was the dog in every game up until this point. Until this game, it's because the downfall of Colorado. Colorado's spiraling, reeling. I'm taking the Mountaineers, man. I don't know what Colorado's got going on. Dion might be out after this year. They're just on a downward spiral. They got beat by like a combined 90 points, I think, in the last 2 weeks. So I don't know
Yeah, I mean, I wanted after all the, everybody kind of changing their mind on Coach Prime after the first year. I really wanted the Buffaloes to kind of circle the wagon, so to speak, and get that program in the right direction, especially because he stayed at Colorado after there was so much talk of him leaving and going and getting a pro job when his son left. I really feel like next year is probably going to be the year that everyone should be judging him, although everybody seemed to be quick to judge that first year. But West Virginia has been a solid team this season, and like you said, Colorado's been falling off the last few weeks, getting blown out back-to-back weeks. The next game we got, Florida at Kentucky. Kentucky getting 3.5. You feeling the Wildcats, or you like the Gators without Napier?
Listen, Florida has a whole laundry list of injuries, man. They got everybody out. They're gonna be DJ Lagway's gonna be throwing it to Joe, bro. I don't know who they got left in at their offensive end, receiver wise, and even on the defensive back end. Everyone's hurt. I don't know about the interim head coach. I haven't really looked into him much. Normally, if you get a larger guy, the interim bump tends to work more than a skinny guy. And Florida got a skinny guy. I'm 90% sure. So I'm on the Wildcats. I'm just taking the points. I think it's just going to be a little rock fight.
Yeah,
Kentucky hasn't really
absolutely.
impressed me too much, but I don't know. Mark Stoops, maybe this is a save his job game. Like Mark Stoops has one of those save your job games every year.
I know it.
Like,
I know it, man.
I
You're
feel like
right.
this is this one.
He just seems to get in that position every single year. I mean, even when he was at Oklahoma with his brother, it seemed like there was just one of those games where you just are like, what is this defense doing? But who knows? All right. Anyway, moving on to Iowa State at TCU. TCU giving 7.5. Excuse me. To the Cyclones.
Josh Hoover. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I hear
Josh
you.
Hoover.
Yeah.
Iowa State has some injuries as well, not as long as Kentucky, but they've been banged up. They've been up and down this season. I'm taking the Horned Frogs just because Josh Hoover is special. I feel like he's a name to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like I've been betting on Iowa State too many times to get burned. So
I'm trying to get my back from last week, man. Last week.
Well, and I like Matt Campbell as a coach. I think he's a really solid coach for that program, but just hasn't gotten it done, man. It's a shame.
I do like
it. Really is.
Rocket is
yeah,
solid.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So moving on to my favorite segment of the week, games nobody will watch. First matchup is Texas State at Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns getting 3.5 from the Bobcats. Bobcats play a solid defense. I just feel like Louisiana at home is just too good to take. Or not take, excuse me.
Yeah, man. I mean, Tulane won yesterday. There's got to be two good teams in Louisiana at a time when LSU's bad. Time for another one to step up, man. It's the Cajuns' turn.
Yeah, I agree. All right. The next one, as we know, Veterans Day is coming up. Temple at Army. Army giving 6.5. Temple's a tough team. Don't get me wrong. Casey Keeler's won wherever he's been. Just playing in that environment on on Veterans Day weekend is probably something that is too much to overcome for the Owls over the Black Knights.
Hoorah, baby.
That's it. All right. So one of the matchups that me and you talked about, it's a bigger team, two bigger programs than I usually highlight. Kansas at Arizona. We both like the under 55.5 here. Just not a lot of offense to come out of this game.
Yeah, Jalen Daniels has been up and down this season. And Noah Fafita, he's solid, but I don't really know what's going on. I don't know his receiver situation too well. And that Arizona offense hasn't like put up astounding numbers to be like this is an over team. So I like the under in that just because it's the Big 12 matchup. They just throw rocks at each other, and then whoever's bleeding less at the end of the day wins.
That might be true. All right. Our last one is Southern Miss -6.5 at Arkansas State. They're the Golden Eagles, right? The
I think
Southern
so.
Miss.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Red Wolves of Arkansas State. I just feel like Arkansas State is really taking a turn after the last few years of competing in their conference championship. Southern Miss really coming up here. I just feel like the Southern Miss offense is too much for that Arkansas State team.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Butch Jones don't know what is coming to him when Southern Miss rolls into town, baby.
Yeah. All right. So as we wrap up here, just want to shout out once again our sponsors, mybookie.ag, our OG sponsor, BetUS, MLB and NFL shop, at Walmart as well, and Fourth Wall, where our merch store is located. You can get all your podcast merch there. We appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. We will definitely have some better matchups coming up in the next few weeks now that conference championships are starting to be, kind of on the front burner for most teams competing in that college playoff ranking, which is released every Tuesday at 8 o'clock on ESPN. Jimmy, any final words you want to say to our fans who have supported us these last 10 weeks?
Let's go make some cheddar, man. It might not be that many exciting games, but it's still a good day to make money.
That's right. Any day that has a clock is a good day to make money.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you guys next week for Week 11 matchups. Once again, Not Move Podcast College Game Day Edition. Have a great weekend. Go Irish.
Wahoo wah, baby.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.